Hi Aries, I hope you guys are doing great today. Welcome to your general messages for this beautiful full moon in Scorpio. But this time period is going to be covering the 25th to the 30th of the month. I'm going to be breaking this into three sections. The first, I'm going to be pulling some cards and just discussing this full moon. If you're not into that and you want to jump right into relationship, check the timestamp in the description box. And then I'm going to be doing some career, pulling some cards for career/money. And I'm also going to timestamp that in the description box. So if you want to listen to all three, awesome. If you don't want to listen to all three, that's fine too. I'll put the description in the timestamps in the description box for you guys. So April 26th, full moon in the fixed sign of Scorpio. Things are about to get pretty intense for all of us because this particular lunar climax in Taurus season happens to be also this super moon, right? It's the first super moon of the year. It's also known as the pink moon, and she is not playing, Aries. She's not. And this full moon on the 26th is going to really make our deepest secrets and vulnerabilities unavoidable, helping us all to face truths, our truth, right? As well as our own power and what it is that we actually can do to help mitigate certain situations that are going on in our life right now. This is definitely going to be a hard-hitting one. So let's see how this is likely going to impact your sign. Because remember, to be forewarned is to be forearmed. Now remember, as full moons do, right, they do tend to illuminate situations for us, but Scorpio is a sign that values privacy. So right now you may not be inclined to really share your emotional epiphanies and your heartfelt realizations with the outside world. You might just kind of want to feel like you want to keep things under wraps, which is okay. Do whatever you need to do to protect your energy here. Now, besides the full moon sitting in this tense opposition to the sun, it's also forming a confrontational oppositional aspect to, crazy ass Uranus, right? Wild child Uranus, surprises, shocking changes. And this face off could bring about some sudden realizations. Dealing with this tension on top of all that the full moon is bringing can be a challenge, but it could also inspire us to think of things from a new perspective or to help us to sort of get out of our own way or figure something out that we've been struggling with. So use this powerful energy to ultimately to your advantage is really what I'm wanting for you here. So this full moon is for you guys. It's going to be happening in your 8th house. Okay, so this 8th house, what is the 8th house? The 8th house is many things. On the one hand, it's the house of intimacy and how we show up as a we in relationship. Your money versus somebody else's money, whether it has to do with business, in relationship, whatever it is, communication. Obviously, it's intimacy within a relationship, but it really is how you show up as a we in a situation on the one hand. It's also a money house. So it's money coming to you, though, from other people, like money that your partner makes that ultimately would end up, somehow impacting your life. But it could also be from insurance payout, inheritance, any sort of settlement, anything having to do with the stock market, any sort of investment, anything like that, right? So in that way, it is money energy. So here, there's going to be a lot of light shown on any of these areas. Now, this is going to be in opposition to the Sun, Uranus, Venus, and Mars, all in Taurus in your 2nd house. So there's going to be, now again, Uranus is in there. So Uranus is a big, and that's going to be in a direct opposition, like squaring, right? They're going to be staring at each other across the wheel, square in the eyes. So there's going to be a lot of surprises for you having to do with this 8th house when it comes to things that you value, when it comes to things of money, anything like that. Now, this is going to be squaring Saturn and Uranus in your 11th house. So don't be surprised if you're in this space where it's like, I don't really even know what my 5-year plan could be, depending, considering the situation that I'm in right now. So wow, there's a lot of like warrior energy happening here, my friends. We got you and we got Mars, which is your ruler. So wow. Oh, and we got a square, which is all about tension. So yeah, so let's talk about this, okay? Just finishing up the astrology. I want to end on a good point with the astrology before we get into the cards, is you're going to be getting help from this trine to Mars and Cancer, and this is going to be in your 4th house. This is going to motivate you to really honor your emotions regarding security, family, your home, all those fourth house things. You're just going to be like standing your ground, like, no, this is what I want, need, and desire, right? So your money access is going to be impacted, the money that you make and the money that your partner makes. So the money that you have and what matters to you versus what matters to your partner. If it's not an intimate partner, it could be a business partner as well. And you being very concerned though, and I'm not even going to say concerned, like digging your heels in a good way, protecting, because right, Mars in Aries is Mars in Cancer rather is a very protective energy, and you're ready to really stand up for yourself. I'm not going to say fight, but you're ready to like not accept something that's not going to be really aligning with what it is that you want to do, right? So we have Aries. Aries came up as this first energy here. This is about active self-starting, being really fierce and assertive. Fresh path, new perspective. We have the center card is Mars here. So this is Mars is again the warrior planet, but you know what Mars is too? It's the Tower in tarot. It's like, listen, I've been showing you the signs, Aries, right? All the red flags have been there. What have you been doing with them? Have you been purposely ignoring them because it's uncomfortable or because you're not really sure what to do with whatever it is that's being shown to you? You're just not sure, maybe how to end something or how to be more assertive to go after something, whatever it is, right? There's been this real challenge here, right? Squaring just means tension, and we need tension, Aries. Squares aren't necessarily bad at all. If we don't feel tense every now and then, how are we ever going to grow, right? Right? When we're comfortable, what's the motivation to make any changes? Nothing, right? So the 4 cards that I pulled and the dice that I pulled here, we have Aquarius, which is all focused on the future, ruled by Uranus. So there's a lot of focus because we have the sun, and the sun always indicates where our focus is. First of all, for good or bad, where is somebody's ego getting in the way? This is what this is telling me. Having to do with just like your day-to-day. So this could just be, not seeing eye to eye on the splitting of responsibilities, splitting of finances, things being more equitable, right? There can be this idea of things being equitable or not in the relationship. Yeah, but a lot of focus on the future for sure. Fresh path, new perspective, but really how equal is everything. You really want this new start. We have the Ace of Swords. This is a nice energy. It's auspicious for all areas of your life. New beginnings, decisions, clear thinking and work, love, any area of your life, but an immediate change to your circumstances for the better, which is really good. You're going to be very mentally agile and assertive, and that's the way to go in order to bring success rather than being a little too overzealous, right? If you're here with a relationship on your heart, this is really about getting over past obstacles and getting what you want, like thoughts becoming things. And that's very much what your focus is on, but you're dealing with a lot of anxiety. There's definitely like this 3 a.m. energy, right? Where it's like these ruminating thoughts. You may be experiencing a sense of overwhelm, trouble sleeping, maybe even a little bit of depression. Whatever it is, you're not really responding very well to some sort of external stress because your way out of something isn't completely clear. But I see there's definitely going to be some sort of lesson learned. I mean, that's what the world is. The world is a Saturn energy, and it's about learning a lesson, completion, lesson learned, goal completed. So for relationships, this is happiness, fulfilling and loving energy as the result of learning a lesson. If this has to do with career or money, you're achieving goals. This is a new position, a promotion, award, some sort of rising status, which is really, really good. But whatever it is, it's like something learned. Now, for some of you, it's going to be, okay, lesson learned, I'm out of here. A lot of you, it's going to be that because the full moon in Scorpio in that 8th house, it does have to do with endings and beginnings. This full moon is all about that. It's about transformation. That is Scorpio, ruled by Pluto. It's about dealing with whatever's been hiding underneath the surface and saying, you know what? You can't stay under there anymore. Now it's time to move. We have to move forward, and whatever that means. So we have the Wheel of Fortune. For some of you, if you're here with a relationship on your heart, an ex-love interest or partner can come back from the past, but you really need to think about that last go around. And if you think you guys had good enough bones and a strong enough foundation to make it work this time, if so, great. If not, it's going to feel like trying to fit a circle in a square, as I always say, right? And if this has to do with career or money, this does indicate good news coming in, but please, please, please prioritize what's being asked of you and exercise a lot of integrity while doing it, because you have to understand that this is a very fated situation, and this is a Jupiter energy, and Jupiter is always in a very, very intimate dance with karma. So it does seem like there's going to be this lesson learned, some stress, not going to lie, right? This full moon is going to be hitting you right in your feels, Aries. So it's okay to take some time away from your responsibilities to really look at your truth, honor your truth, and weigh out what really, really matters to you. And whether it's money, the roof over your head, the food you put in your mouth, the clothes on your back, whatever it is. This is a really good time to dig deep and recognize some of the spiritual baggage that's been really weighing you down, whether that's in the form of debt, whether it's just a general concern about money. You know, are you feeling like a lack mentality that might be getting in your way? Are there unkept promises at play here? Have you promised things that you haven't followed through on? Are you dealing with somebody who hasn't followed through on their promises? Or even any sort of toxic relationship dynamic? Just release what is no longer serving you, okay? So those are the general messages for this full moon. Now let's see what comes up. Let's start with relationship. Okay, so let's pull a couple of advice cards for the relationship, and then we'll pull a Celtic cross spread for whatever situation you're in. We'll see what comes up. Take time to breathe out. Disseminating moon. Yeah, for sure. Take time to breathe out. Yeah, I mean, listen, just with the full moon in the 8th, there's really going to be a lot of, I'm just going to say what it is. It's tension in that 8th house of intimacy and how you show up as a we, you know. And again, this doesn't only have, just because it's on your money axis, we say default money axis, but 2nd house, 8th house axis, that's just things we value. What matters to you? Intimacy, communication, you know, just feeling good about being in something. There's going to be some tension here. So disseminating moon is just kind of like breathe it out. Don't jump to anything just yet. I only have one here. Ask for help. What do you really need? Be willing to accept support. Now that could be from either a therapist, a family member. You know, you might be in a situation where you need to ask this very partner for some help right now, depending on what the situation is. Only because you have Uranus in that 2nd house. It is in there with the Sun and Mercury and Venus. And there's, you know, there's a party going on. There's, I mean, you have that. It's actually stellium there, and then the Sun sort of a little outside of that. So there's going to be a lot of focus on the idea of money and just emotional, mental, physical connection here. All right, we have runner in a codependent relationship, fear of intimacy and listening to ego. I don't know if that's you or somebody that you're dealing with. Let's pull one more as a crowning. I like you, someone likes you, romance is blooming, fun flirting, want to date. I don't know, is there somebody else in the mix? Is there somebody else in the mix for those of you who are partner? Doesn't mean anybody's doing anything, but there just may be another energy sort of lingering in the mist. So that could be you, or that could even be somebody liking your partner, right? Because the energies are always very enmeshed when we're talking about relationship reads. Guys, remember, these are general messages. Please don't try to make it fit if it doesn't fit, right? If it's not your message, maybe we get you next time. Okay. Okay, so we have the 3 of Wands in reverse. We have the Knight of Wands in the upright. 8 of Cups. Queen of Pentacles. 5 of Pentacles coming in. Yeah, so I feel like there's some sort of a challenge or a sense of lack right now that you're experiencing. There might be money issues going on in the connection. That could certainly be a situation. Or if you have ended a relationship, that could certainly be a play here with the 5 of Pentacles coming into this energy, right? This can be a test of your resources, financial issues, fear of financial issues, and you know, you being in the space where you're considering new options that are going to help you to see your way forward. But this can also just show a fear of losing the security of your home, or for some of you, this could be the pain in the aftermath of a breakup, or for some of you, even a death. You know, but you do have more support than you realize now, which is really actually nice. And why I say that is because the Five of Pentacles, even, you know, the fives can be just a very psychological cards, right? A lot of times it's not that it's not real to us, but it may be just happening more between our ears and behind our eyes than actually in the 3D. So in the situation right now, we have the Three of Wands in the reverse, which indicates delays and setbacks, not having a lot of foresight. There not being some really good planning having to do with the situation. Yet we have this being crossed by the Knight of Wands. So there's this strong desire to fire up your ambition. Aries, I kind of feel like you're in this space where you know in your mind's eye what it is that you want to do, but it's not squaring well with your reality, meaning what you really want to do and you're feeling very motivated and very passionate about wanting to move forward. You're feeling it very strongly, but because there's some sort of delay, whether it's because of COVID or other things, or maybe you didn't plan something well, or there's some sort of setback, right? So it's like you want this, you know, things to speed up. You want blocks to be lifted. You want decisions to come in. You're in this space of waiting, but things are just not happening. So it's almost like you want to feel this forward movement in the relationship, but something's not coming in for you, right? Whether it's communication from a person, or maybe things are just really weird between the two of you. If you're in something where you had the conversation, things are going to be so much better, but yet in the 3D, in the day-to-day, they're not. So for some of you, you know, that could be where you're at right now. We have as a crowning energy, the Eight of Cups. So the Eight of Cups this is Saturn and Pisces energy, and this is about departure and change and having a very high EQ, right? Emotional intelligence, recognizing that something doesn't feel right and that it's time to move on. I always call this the sadness but no regret energy. And it's likely that you may have, to a certain degree, likely left the situation emotionally already. And, you know, it's time to work on yourself. You might even be dealing with a partner who did this. Now, for those of you who are single, this could also indicate you recognizing that if you broke up or somebody broke up with you, even though you would very much like to you would, right? If somebody said, what would you love about, you know, to have happen in relationship? And even if somebody maybe isn't the best energy for you, you saying, I would really like to get back with this person. But for many of you, you realizing, you know what, that's actually really toxic. And it's time for me to really think about moving on and really think about me, right? Really think about taking care of yourself. So a lot of you are going to be in this space, right, where you're just sort of taking care of your finances, your body, your mind, your emotions, you. Now, it's a general energetic influence having to do with those of you who are maybe partnered for a long time, no one's going anywhere. First of all, this can indicate marriage as a general influence for some of you, or money coming to those of you who are coupled. You know, this can indicate good financial management, a sensual sex life, fertility, for those of you who are together and nobody's going anywhere. I give the different variations, guys, because you're all different ages and different stages, and this is a general message. So I don't really know who I'm speaking to right now, right? So I'm just speaking to the Aries archetype, okay? So those are the different ways. If you're alone, focusing on you. If you're coupled, right? Money could be coming into those of you. This could indicate a sensual sex life. You guys realizing you have to move away from any element of toxicity and get more serious about your relationship. Now, it's going to depend, though, also on like how on board is this partner with you. And that's a really key point, because you, Aries, I see you as kind of having had it, right? We have the Ten of Swords here, and this is endings, right? I mean, there's the finality in the release of something here. There's that has a history. Something that has a history, there's an ending here. And even though it's upsetting, Ten of Swords can be obviously upsetting. The end of something is always that way, but it ends up releasing you from a frustration and a stress, even if it's painful, because it's the end of a challenging time period. Now, you're going to end up with a much healthier set of eyes on the other side of this and a new mindset, which is really good. So now it depends, though. Do you want to... Are you ending this cycle? Because remember, it's still a minor arcana. Are you ending an unhealthy cycle with someone to work on it, to make it better? Only you know that. Or are you saying, you know what, this is just not working. I've been trying to work at this. You're dealing with somebody who's in an emotional stalemate, or you're surrounded by an energy that is like an emotional stalemate. And it's really, Time to think here, like, because this is the energy that's surrounding you, that's impacting you. So I feel like you're either dealing with somebody who's at an emotional stalemate where they need to make a decision, and they're in the space of feeling like they need to protect themselves, but they have to resolve the situation within themselves. You know, even if it's them standing their ground and saying what they think, and even if it doesn't feel good, they have to do it, right? One way or the other. What do they want, right? Or you have to decide what you want, right? Because this is the stalemate energy that could just be sort of, you know, this idea of there being two situations of something, and you know, what do you want to do? You know, what do you want to do? What do they want to do? Depends on how it's manifesting for you. Now the challenge here is the King of Cups. So this is your block, and the block here is being able to settle some sort of conflict, either within yourself or with somebody else right now. And it might, you know, the block might be because you're really not totally sure how to handle it. You know, the advice here is always to go with your heart when we're talking about the King of Cups energy, but there's change going on here in this relationship. There's no question. There's change going on for you in relationship, Aries, 100%, particularly with this full moon in Scorpio in your 8th house. This here, the King of Cups, is Libra and Scorpio. And so, yeah, Libra is relationship and Scorpio is this 8th house where it's happening for you. So it's all about, this is like a King of Cup moment for you, but it's a block for you. It's a challenge. Now we have the 10 of Wands in the near future, which is the energy of overwhelm, right? Responsibilities and burden, overloaded demand. Something's becoming too much. Something about the relationship, whether it's the responsibilities of the relationship, responsibilities maybe of family, if you're in that space, something going on in the relationship where you're like, wow, this is kind of like a lot, you know, and I'm not feeling, you know, good about all of this. So you have to put the wands down. That's literally what happens, is things become so imbalanced that you can't hold it together anymore. Doesn't mean that you're weak. It means that you're human. And whatever the situation that's going on, it's just like, you know, maybe the next person can handle it better, but this is just a little much. Now, we have the Justice energy as the final outcome. Now, this is about balance and fairness being really important for you to look at now. You know, and I know this is happening, especially because we have this Cancer Mars in your 4th house. So it's going to have you really looking at like how fair are things when it comes to you feeling grounded, rooted, and safe and secure, you know. And remember, because Venus is a Venus energy, right? Justice is Libra, and Libra is ruled by Venus, and this is indicative of the 7th house of partnerships, right? And so being ruled by Venus, Venus wants us to feel good about being in something, and she values equitable and loving situations. So you have to really ask yourself if your emotional needs are being met in whatever it is that you're in right now. Now, for those of you not in anything right now, you should be asking these questions about your past relationships. I'm really trying to kind of get to the bottom of all of this. Now, going back to the asking for help, this could be you sitting your partner down saying, look, this is how I feel. What can we do about this? As long as you're hearing them as well, you know. This could also be for those of you who are maybe willing or in counseling right now. Anything like that. But there really is this need to sort of, you know, when we say take time to breathe out, take a step back. Really take a step back and figure out, is there any codependency existing within this relationship, either by you or by somebody else? Is there a deep fear of intimacy? Or is ego at play here, either on your end, their end, or maybe a little bit of both? Is there another energy that's sort of hanging in the periphery here? Some sort of, you know, or this desire, are you thinking in those, remember, this is in this Scorpio energy with the full moon, we're going to be feeling a lot of things in private. Are you possibly entertaining the idea of how life might be with another partner? You know, even if you haven't met anybody, right? It's like this other energy that's sort of lingering here. So that's what I have for you guys. For this particular week. It's just the 25th to the 30th, but that's what I see going on in relationship. So it looks like you're going to be forced sort of to face some sort of situations, right, in the area having to do with partnership. Okay, so now let's head over to career. Okay, let's pull a couple of advice cards for that. Let's pull a Wisdom of the Oracle. Serendipity, lovely. I like it. So serendipity means things are happening and you're like, wow, you know, oh, I haven't heard from that person in a long time, or this is amazing that this, you know, chain of events happened in the way that it has. You know, it's definitely, I mean, we have these changes happening in your second house of money, right? And because the sun is in your second house, right, there's going to be, whatever house the sun is in, there's a lot of focus there. So for you, the focus right now is a lot about things you value, whether it's money, the roof over your head, whatever it is. So something that's going to be happening in your life having to do with career or money, it doesn't only have to mean money, payout of some kind, very serendipitous. Oh, we have the 11th house, which has to do with goals and gains. It has to do with friends and other things, but when it comes to career and money, this is your house of goals and gains. So this is your 5-year plan. Where do you want to go? What do you want to do, right? I always think it's like, kind of works with the 5th house, 11th house works together. So that 5th house is it's an entrepreneurial effort or anything creative, something that you really want to do. And that 11th house bringing you some money. So I really like this for you. I actually feel like something that you really enjoy doing just because you really love to do it can absolutely end up bringing you something sort of, you know, serendipitous, some sort of serendipitous circumstance that's going to be happening for you in the area, either career or just general money. So let's pull a Celtic cross spread and see what comes up for you, for our Aries Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus friends. And why don't we throw in the 10th house? Those of you who know you are, those of you who know your placements. 3 of Pentacles, nice collaborative energy. All right. Any sort of like project or anything like that, but we have the Judgment in the reverse. So let's pull the rest of the cards and see what we have. Oh, we have several. All right, I'm not mad at that. We have several reversals, which are very helpful. Sometimes they are. Okay, coming into this energy, we have the Ace of Swords in reverse. So having to do with money, having to do with career, some sort of financial situation. You've been experiencing up to this point some stress, some sort of mental block. You might be dealing with an energy that could be dishonest, okay? You might have been exercising some poor judgment when it comes to your finances or anything surrounding finances, or dealing with somebody who is like that, right? Remember, the energies could always be enmeshed with somebody who you're very close to. So we have the 3 of Pentacles, as I mentioned before. This is the energy of collaboration. So this is the current situation right now. So you being very much in this mindset of success, of collaborating. You want to do rewarding work. You want to allow your talents to shine. You want to really have some sort of successful launch. Some of you may even be really focused on doing some sort of home improvement or selling your home. That has to do with money as well. Anything like that, right? Being very, very focused on that, but it's being crossed by the Judgment in reverse. So the Judgment in reverse, it's, you know, in the upper, this is a Pluto energy, okay? So you want to make sure that you are on point with things and that you're not in denial about anything, because again, this can indicate an error in judgment, a fearing of change, like some sort of weakness or vulnerability, insecurity about going after something. So whether, and what you say, hey man, I'm an Aries, I'm ruled by Mars. Are you kidding? I'm not scared of anything when it comes to this. I'm not getting that right now, Aries. I feel like you have, you know what you do is good. Like, you know, you bring value to the table. You know that your thoughts are on point, but it's more about, you can know that all day long, but it's more about, I feel like, being able to either make it happen for you or have those gifts, talents, and abilities recognized by others in the way that you would like them to be recognized, you know. So you're really in the energy of moving forward, collaborating. Come on, let's grow, let's do all of this, let's make this happen. But yet it's like, okay, you know, you're dealing with this kind of energy where it's like, all right, maybe I'm not thinking things through so clearly, you know, any of these Judgment and reverse energies. You do want to be careful of that, right? Because you don't want to play any sort of mental gymnastics that don't lean in your favor, having to do with something to do with money. So we have the 2 of Swords as the crowning energy here. So again, this is about this being a time to think, because you're at an emotional stalemate and you really need to make a decision. And even though your default here is going to be very much to protect yourself. Again, of course it's going to be, because Mars and Cancer in that fourth, you're going to be motivated to honor your emotions regarding your security and all of that. That's fine. Okay, that's fine. But you need to figure out what it is that you want and think about what you need to do to resolve a situation, because you can't think yourself out of this. You have to resolve it now. This is the kind of thing where if you keep kicking the bucket down the road regarding whatever, whether it's a lawsuit, whether it's a job, a decision, a project, whatever, it's going to end up, procrastination is not your friend in this energy at all. So it can end up being worse for you later on. So you're better off just facing something right now, or an energy that you're dealing with, they need to face something. But we have the beautiful sun as the foundation. Nothing to be mad at here. This is great. Success and a position through which you can make more money. You're getting a lot of deserved acknowledgement. So something going really well. So, a lawsuit airing in your favor, something airing in your favor, or at least in a way that you're going to be happy with. Let's say that. Okay? Happening in a way. Now, if it has to do with a job, I do want to say this doesn't mean that you're going to win the lottery or step into a pot of gold or anything like that. It means that you're going to be open to a position or a situation that's going to allow you success, right? So basically, it's going to give you all the tools in your toolbox that you need. So now, you right now, though, right, this is in yours and only your position. We have the Tower reverse. So on the one hand, you're like, wow, thank God that thing didn't work out. Disaster averted, right? It's like, whew, kind of thing, right? But at the same time, you're very focused on your security. You're very afraid of the change, but there's something about this situation that feels very oppressive to you. It's almost like, I'm almost getting like you can't breathe kind of energy, right, in this. But at the same time, something is not working out and you're kind of glad it's not. That could be a job, financial situation, guys. I could even say this might even be a relationship where there's a lot of financial entanglements involved here. So it depends on where you're at right now. We have the Ace of Cups reverse is the energy that's external to you, that's impacting you. So you may be dealing with somebody outside of you, or this could be the general energetic influence of being disappointed and let down and depressed even about something not working out. Now, you might be kind of bummed out about something that you thought you wanted and it didn't work out, so you might be bummed but kind of relieved at the same time. Some of you are going to resonate with it like that. For others of you, you might be dealing with a partner who's really disappointed that something didn't work out, or that you are not going, you're not adopting a particular mindset regarding finances or your career. They kind of want you to be on board with them, but they might feel like you're not, or you may feel like you have something set in your mind's eye and your partner's not on board with you, right? Or your business partner, your marital partner, anybody that you would be in this situation with, right? There's this idea of disappointment. Could even be a family member if it has to do with like an inheritance situation. So we have the block here is the World. So you're having a hard time learning a lesson here. I mean, that's kind of what this is, but something's unfinished. And there are some sort of delays. So, right, because the World is about completion in the upright, right? And so, and in, and in a positive position. But here in the block, in the challenge is a challenge. It indicates you're having a hard time learning a lesson. So therefore, there's some sort of delay in something. Something's not finished. Something's being left unfinished. And you're having a hard time learning what it is that needs to be done here. We have the Knight of Pentacles in the reverse, and this is for the near future. This is a stubborn energy, so you might be dealing with a stubborn person. You might be feeling a little stubborn. This could also indicate not working. This can also indicate some laziness. So I don't know if you're not working and, maybe your family is saying, come on, let's go. You have to, figure something more out, something else out, right? It could certainly be that. You might be dealing with a partner like that, whether it's an intimate partner or a business partner, like, come on, let's get on the same page, that kind of energy. But then we have as the final outcome, the Nine of Swords in the reverse, which I like this much better in the reverse because this indicates like a recovering from something, a healing. There's a relief. So there's some sort of release valve having here, some sort of serendipitous release valve. So whether this is, maybe you're getting help from friends, because 11th house is also friendships. So somebody who you're friends with might be helping you out. But it does seem like there's this idea of goals, gains, the future, something happening sort of at the 11th hour, right? With that 11th house energy, that's going to come in and end up helping you out. So I really like that, actually. So it seems like there's some sort of challenge. Something's not working out exactly the way that you would like it to, but it's almost like something happens. Either you find out about a settlement, some sort of job offer, some sort of idea occurs to you that you know is going to bring you what it is that you're looking for. Something's going to happen here in this energy with this full moon in Scorpio for you guys, having to do with this 8th house. And just the way that it's relating to your 2nd, your 11th, and your 4th house as well. Anyway, my friends, that is what I have for you. I hope this was helpful in some way. Thanks so much for joining me, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.